Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we are going to be featuring another Pogoraids draft. This is in the Open Master League. The format is Stasis, which is basically a points system. So each player gets 15 points, and then they draft in a particular order, and they have to utilize up to the 15 points in this particular case. So this is from DSU Co. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the first round here. It's going to be DSU versus Heartbroken Kid. DSU's team is Mega Gyarados, Zacian, Xerneas, Genesect, Ursaluna, and Mega Venusaur. Heartbroken Kid has Mega Gardevoir, Kyogre, Groudon, Dragonite, Gyarados, and Togekiss. So Mega Venusaur actually looks pretty strong versus the team, except for the Dragonite. But the Dragonite has a tough time with two fairies on this team, plus Ursaluna having access to Ice Punch, and as well Mega Gyarados having access to Dragon Breath or Dragon Tail. But we're going to see how this is going to play out. We're going to see Ursaluna versus Kyogre. Kyogre does deal super effective damage with the Waterfalls and Surf, and going to go for the Thunder Punch right away, which is going to do some good, super effective damage. And we see the Kyogre staying in, building up quite a bit of energy, enough for the Origin Pulse. We're going to see this Origin Pulse or the Surf, and going to go ahead and throw the Play Rough instead of the Wild Charge, since it would reduce it wouldn't lead to a defense drop. And this Kyogre is building up some energy here. And we're going to see how this opponent's going to play it out, or how DSU is going to play it out. And they actually come into Togekiss and going to throw the Wild Charge. This opponent's for a huge surprise. But the tricky part here is, how do you take out this Togekiss? You really can't fast move it down with Genesect. So going to go ahead and going to go into... Oh, it's actually an Air Slash variant. Oh, interesting. Going to let it go, or going to shield? Going to let it go. And we will see what the opponent is going to do. They're going to come back in with Kyogre. I imagine they're going to swap to Genesect no matter what. Going to go swap into Genesect. And here comes Mega Gardevoir. And this is actually a pretty good situation for the Genesect. But these charms are adding up. We will see how much this Magnet Bomb does to the Gardevoir. It does a pretty good amount. Now it can just shield and fast move down. I'm assuming they have triple Axle. Yeah, they do have triple Axle, which does boost the charms, but not enough time for the Mega Gardevoir, and that is going to be a good game. These are best of 4 formats, so going to run ABA Fairy with Xerneas. I'm actually surprised no Mega Venusaur was super strong into the last team, but I guess with the Air Slash Togekiss, it's actually a little bit trickier. So we're going to see how this is going to play out in this scenario here. And we're going to see Xerneas versus Groudon. Groudon is pretty tough for this lead. Probably going to stay in. The Precious Blade does do a tremendous amount of damage. And going to let them throw... The opponent's going to let them throw the Moonblast first. They do have access to the Precious Blade already. And they're going to build up... Okay, no. They're going to shield. I'm not sure about the shield here, but let's see. They do go for the Precious Blade. They will beat them to the move, so I'm curious how this is going to play out. Okay, nope. They decide to... Well, you got... Oh, this is KO? Let's see here. This will do a lot. Does not KO. And going to go for the close combat. Do they have 2 close combats here? We're going to see. They do have 2 close combats. Very well played matchup here. Close combat's going to do a decent amount here. The Fire Punches will be super effective versus Venusaur, so I'm curious how this is going to play out. It does have a decent amount of energy. I guess you'd let one go and probably shield the second one. Okay, going to shield. You have to shield one of them anyways. But will they go? Let's see what they are going to do here. They do go for the Precious Blade. Does a tremendous amount of damage. What are we going to see in the back? We're going to see Dragonite come in, and here comes Air Slash Togekiss, but the quick attack variant is much better here in this scenario here. So gonna throw the Wild Charge. This Dragonite's not too big of a threat to the Zacian here, and they do land the Aerial Ace. Gonna have to try to quick attack down. Can you quick attack down in time? Oh, that is very unfortunate here. That is extremely unfortunate. Maybe could have thrown and then got to the wild charge, but will 2 sludge bombs be enough for the Dragonite? Can you even reach 2 sludge bombs here? This is Mega Venusaur. Does hit pretty hard. It's not going to be enough. It's certainly not going to be enough. This Dragonite will be into the red, but we already saw how much the Sludge Bomb did, and it's not quite enough there. Probably could have wild charged the Togekiss sooner and then reach the wild charge. And I think Dragonite would win CMP versus versus Mega Venusaur. Let me just double check here. It's probably Venusaur here. Mega Venusaur. Yeah, Dragonite would win CMP. So it still would be a tricky situation, but maybe the clock would come up in time. But it would have been a very challenging situation. Very tough matchup. The opponent landed a very nice bait with the Groudon on the Fire Punch, and then was able to commit to the Precious Blade, even though the Venusaur could have thrown beforehand, and that made it very challenging there. Okay, we're gonna see Ursaluna versus Togekiss. This should be a good matchup for the Ursaluna, since it does have access to Thunder Punch and Ice Punch, which are both super effective. Obviously, the Togekiss could have. They decide to come into the. Okay, gonna stay here. Interesting. And gonna throw the Ice Punch. Does pretty good amount of damage. And this Groudon's farming up a lot here. Do you let this go? Gonna let this go. And they do land the Precious Blade. And this Ursaluna, can it make it to move? It can make it to the Ice Punch. Very well calculated play. What's going to happen here? They actually decide to shield. Do you come into Venusaur at this point in time? Going to come into Venusaur. Going to shield or no shield this scenario here? It's kind of a tricky situation. Oh my gosh, the opponent lands the bait here. And they're going to throw the aerial. He still doesn't do that much damage. This Togekiss is probably definitely in Sludge Bomb range, but probably pretty close to Frenzy Plant range as well. So we're going to see the Sludge Bomb come through. They're going to come into Zacian. I think you can quick attack all the way down. Don't need to shield. Okay, going to throw the Play Rough here. Wants to preserve the health of... I guess they could have Dazzling Gleam, which would do quite a bit of damage. And then here comes Kyogre. And we're going to see how this is going to play out. Going to throw the Wild Charge, but this Venusaur is in prime position here. Still has to deal with the Groudon, though. And they... Okay, well, that's totally fine. You just let this go here. Now you just farm down. This actually works out better here. Going to farm down. I guess they potentially could have made it to... well, I don't think they could do anything here because this Kyogre wasn't going to be able to take out this Mega Venusaur. And Mega Venusaur coming in clutch in game number 3. Will we see the Dragonite from Heartbroken Kid in game number 4 to deal with this potential Mega Venusaur? I actually didn't see the team that locked in, but we're going to go ahead into the 4th game of this first set. DSU up 2-1. Will Heartbroken Kid tie it up, or will DSU solidify the 3-1 in this set? And we're going to see Genesect into Kyogre. Unfortunately, this Genesect does not have any good moves for this Kyogre. So we're going to have to see the immediate swap out. They will throw the Surf. Will we see the shield? Gonna see the shield. And we're going to see what's going to come in. And they come into Togekiss. Gonna throw the Play Rough. They need 2 moves anyways, so it makes sense not to debuff yourself quite yet. And gonna throw the Play Rough again. Doesn't want to debuff. And we will see. I don't think the Aerial Ace would KO here, but the question is, will this Zacian make it to the move? It's gonna be very close. Oh, it definitely will. And makes it to the Wild Charge. Will we see the second shield? We will see the second shield. Going to come in Genesect. I'm just going to sack the Genesect at this stage, but this is going to be very difficult farm down. Actually going to come into Gyarados here. Very interesting. And they come into Kyogre. Very interesting. Does this... We haven't seen the second move from this Kyogre yet. Are we going to see it no shield? They do end up throwing the surf here, and we will see what's going to happen here. They do throw. Do you let this go? I don't think an aerial ace will quite KO and will make it to the Magnet Bomb, so it doesn't need to farm down this Togekiss. And we're going to see what's in the back. It's going to be a Dragonite. This is actually a good situation for this Mega Gyarados since it has a super effective Dragon Breath damage, but we'll see. It's running low on health, but it does have a shield behind. Yeah, this is definitely over. This Mega Gyarados is eating this Dragonite alive and comes out with a very impressive 3-1 win in the first set against Heartbroken Kid. I'll see everyone in the second set. All right, next up we have Javier Car Pro, I think that's how you pronounce it. Mega Aggron, Mewtwo, Dialga, Lugia, Primarina, and Swampert. So Mega Venusaur, pretty good against 3, pretty bad against 3. So it's kind of tricky to use. The Mega Aggron, pure Steel type, kind of tricky for the fairies and kind of not, since the fairies do have access to close combat, which deal quite a bit of damage. So we're going to see Xerneas into Mewtwo, and we're going to see how this is going to play out. They probably will throw the Side Strike here. Will do quite a bit of damage, but they need 2 moves to KO. And we're probably going to see 1 and throw the Play Rough. Not the Play Rough, the Moonblast. And we'll see if this Mewtwo will respect. It will not, and the attack did fall. And they are going to throw the Side Strike. Probably going to come in Gyarados. Okay, going to come in Zacian at this stage. Okay, and going to be met by the Aggron here. But the question is, what moveset does this Aggron have? A this is probably going to be a Meteor Beam. Yes, it is a Meteor Beam. And the attack did fall. What moveset is that? On Aggron? Here, okay. Obviously, I'm not familiar with Aggron's moveset. Dragon Tail, right? Dragon Tail. Must be Dragon Tail, right? And we're going to see what this Mewtwo... Okay, going to be a Primarina. This is going to be tricky here, since it does deal super effective damage with the charms and does double resist the Dragon Breath. And will it make it to another crunch here? Going to save the... Oh! Okay, well, you shield this for sure, right? The Side Strike definitely does more. And then you just need to make it to 2 here. But okay, this is actually... I don't know if this is even winnable here. Maybe... Okay, gonna have to throw back-to-back here in case the Primarina does have access to a move. And it does not have access to a move, but these quick attacks are still gonna chip away here. We'll see if the crunch is going to be enough here. This is a stab crunch. We will see what this Primarina is going to do. Is it going to be enough? It is enough. Mega Gyarados flexing on those fairy types and winning that game. Very nicely played. Very, very well done. And so we will see into this next game. This Mewtwo can be quite tricky versus this team. Curious what the second move on Mewtwo is. Maybe Focus Blast or Thunderbolt. Something for the Mega Gyarados. Okay, let's see here. Potion's taking a little bit of time to log in here. Oh, okay. I jumped ahead. We're going to see Gyarados into Primarina. We know they were able to beat it last time. Okay, no, is it? Oh, it's SmackDown. It's SmackDown. Yes, what am I talking about here? It's SmackDown. It's not Dragon Tail. I don't know why I said SmackDown or why I said Dragon Tail previously. And gonna throw another close combat at this Aggron. Likely gonna take the shield. You probably don't shield, right? Okay, or maybe you do shield to get the last shield here, because then you can wild charge the. But now this Aggron is going to be very difficult for this team to beat. And you come into Gyarados. Oh, man. You probably no-shield this. This is going to hurt, though. Gonna no shield, and they actually have access to thunder here. Wow, that's terrible here. And gonna bank the move and then come into. Oh my gosh, this station is gonna throw the close combat. Really? Okay, interesting here. I probably would have shielded and farmed down, but we'll see what's in the back. Oh, the Primarina does come in. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Well, no, there's no way. One close combat is not enough here. And needs to farm up. Okay, you shield this here. Okay, maybe here. If the clock comes up here and you oh, okay, you're gonna have gonna have to throw here. There's no way. This is game over. Needed to yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get the move off. Maybe if it got the move off, well, certainly if it would have got the move off, then would have won the game there because Primarina is pretty glassy. So the wild charge would do 77. Yeah, and definitely would have been enough. Okay, Mega Gyarados versus Aggron. Not the worst matchup, but certainly not the best either. Okay, good timing. Doing 2 Dragon Breaths after the crunch, and then we will see what they're going to do here. Will they throw the Thunder or will they throw the Meteor Beam? Thunder would be super effective, but the Meteor Beam would do quite a bit of damage. You probably just throw the Aqua Tail at this point in time, but maybe they shield here, and the debuff would be valuable. Okay, able to make it to the Aqua Tail anyways, and then we will see what this Aggron's going to do. No shield. Going to immediately swap, and then going to be met by Mewtwo. But I don't think this Mewtwo will shield. I think the opponent will know that it's likely a Zacian in the back, so needs to preserve the shield. Gonna let this go. Gonna throw the Side Strike, and then gonna throw the close combat at this Mewtwo. We'll see if this Mewtwo shields or not. Mewtwo does not choose to shield, and we're gonna see the charm damage coming through, but can come just into Zacian. It should be okay in this situation here. This is definitely a game over here, right? Can just double up here with the wild charge. And the opponent does throw on CMP, but Zacian's going to easily win CMP versus the Primarina. And you just shield this and then throw the wild charge right away. It does 77%, so it'll definitely be more than enough to take out this Primarina. And that's going to be a very good game. DSU up 2-1 in this situation here. And we see them leaving the battle here. Now gonna run Genesect. The question here is which Genesect is being used here. We're gonna see Genesect versus Mewtwo. This should be a favorable matchup as long as they don't have Flamethrower. They're staying in this matchup. Interesting. Gonna throw the Magnet Bomb, which does have same type attack bonus. Will do a decent amount of damage. Certainly won't KO. But the question here is what moveset does this Mewtwo have? It has Focus Blast, which makes sense, and they come into Aggron here. Gonna throw the Techno Blast, does quite a bit of damage, but the question is, where do you go here? Okay, did a decent amount of damage. This Aggron is very tough to deal with. Gonna let this go. Doesn't quite KO. They do throw the Thunder, does a pretty good amount, but they almost certainly will have another Gyarados answer in the back. And gonna try to further farm down. And we'll see what the opponent... There's absolutely no way they come in Mewtwo, right? That'd be crazy. Oh, they come in Primarina, as expected. And the Crunch does have the chance for the defense fall. And you come in... Okay, this is totally fine here. I think you just shield this, right? Shield this and farm down. They do throw the Side Strike, but that's okay. Gonna throw the Magnet Bomb, which is only neutral because of the water typing. We'll see. They did show the... Wow, this is probably going to be enough. Magnet Bomb's probably going to be pretty close anyways. And then you're just going to force this Primarina to throw at the Genesect. Oh, it looks like it's not going to throw here. Okay, interesting here. But even if they Hydro Pump here, I don't think it's going to be enough. That'd be crazy if they were, yeah, they do throw the Hydro Pump, but it's not going to be enough here. And we are going to see the Wild Charge come through in DSU with another dominant 3-1. Very well played, and I will see everyone in the third set. All right, we are in the third round here against Pat the Cat 21, who has Mega Garchomp, Solgaleo, Tapu Bulu, Gudra, Terrakion, and Tapu Fini. Interesting team here. Mega Gyarados looks pretty decent into this team. Obviously, the Terrakion can be kind of tricky, and so can the Tapu Fini. I guess the Tapu Bulu is also tricky. Maybe it's not actually not that good. It's good against the Solgaleo, Garchomp, and Gudra, but it has very polarizing matchups against Tapu Bulu. It's very bad against Tapu and Tapu Fini, but it's pretty probably slightly negative matchup versus Terrakion, but not the worst case. So I'm curious on how this is going to play out. Let's go ahead and check it out and see how these two are going to play it out. We're going to see Xerneas into Bulu. I'm assuming this is favorable for Xerneas here, just because of the sheer stat product difference. We'll see you here. My the video is frozen here. I actually didn't see what got thrown here, but that's okay. Gonna throw the... Actually did quite a bit of damage. Okay, gonna throw the close combat. This is resisted by the Bulu, but still should still be enough here. And we actually see... Okay. Oh, not able to make it. That's very unfortunate. Even throwing the close combat probably would have been pretty nice there, especially with no Wild Charge on this. Oh, the Moonblast connects, does a pretty good amount of damage. Oh man, this is pretty rough here, I'm not gonna lie. These water guns are adding up versus Zacian here. You have to pray that they don't shield, and they don't shield. Do you let this go? Probably survive this, right? And then you come into Gyarados. Yes, come into Gyarados. And the opponent is dreading their life here. But maybe this game's not over yet. Okay, well, it's almost certainly over. They do throw the Earth Power. Okay, and then you just... Okay, gonna throw the Crunch. And probably gonna try to throw another Crunch. Okay, the opponent decides that it's not going to be worth it. Gyarados does resist the water gun, so maybe it's not so terrible matchup versus Gyarados versus... I'm curious who wins that. Mega Gyarados does have a lot of stat product. Huge amount of stat product versus Tapu Fini. It actually just barely loses to the Tapu Fini, so it's not... Oh, actually, no, it's with Waterfall. Let's see what Dragon Breath here. It actually loses slightly more. Okay. But does have access to Ice Punch here. But these Dragon Tails are doing a decent amount of damage here. And we will see how this is going to play out. This is double super effective. The opponent chooses the shield. Are we going to see the Earth Power? Almost certainly the Earth Power, right? They didn't show... they do throw the Earth Power. Did have two answers in the back. So going to come in Gyarados. And then here comes Bulu. Are we going to see the Tapu Fini in the back? And I don't know what move it has. It's Grass Knot. Going to throw the Play Rough. These quick attacks are neutral versus the Bulu. And we're going to see the Bulu probably going to make it to a move. Okay, actually gets the CMP tie. Do you let this go then at this point in time? Or do you shield? I think both are okay. Gonna no shield, and then gonna look to farm down this Bulu. Are we gonna see the Tapu Fini? Oh, it's actually gonna be a Solgaleo here. Oh, interesting. Gonna throw the Crunch, which is gonna deal super effective damage, but they do resist the Dragon Breath. And honestly, does Solgaleo have any moves that can hurt Gyarados by its Solar Beam? They do throw the Psychic Fang. And okay, this is gonna be I'm assuming another Psychic Fang here. Yes, it is. Does not very much damage. And gonna throw the crunch at this Garchomp. They are twice debuffed in their defense right now, or the Gyarados is at least. And gonna throw the Aqua Tail at the Garchomp, and then gonna look to Dragon Breath down this Solgaleo. Very nicely done there. Very nicely done. It makes sense to run the Solgaleo, and the Tapu Bulu doesn't. I guess the Genesect is probably the hardest answer. Oh, not a good situation here. We're going to see the Zacian come in and going to be met by Tapu Fini, ABA Fairy. And we're going to see how this is going to play out. Going to throw the Moonblast here. That would appear to be on CMP. And they actually do end up shielding. The question here is, do they bait or do they go for it? They do go for it. It's not quite that strong because Tapu Fini is definitely missing quite a bit of stat prog. And we're going to see another Moonblast, not Moonblast, Play Rough come through. The opponent chooses to shield. They will reach another move here. Going to shield. Going to be able to make it to the move. This is going to be a Surf. And should be able to make it to this Play Rough. A little bit of lag there, a little bit of frame drops, but that's quite all right. Going to be able to make it to the Moonblast, Play Rough. I don't know why I keep saying Moonblast, which should be enough. And here comes Terrakion. Tricky situation here. They are dealing super effective damage, but you let this go, and this Sacred Sword is going to do a decent amount here, and going to get off this Aqua Tail. Terrakion, not the tankiest Pokemon in Master League, but we'll see how much it does. Does do an okay amount of damage, and then going to switch, and this is a very good situation here. Going to let this go. Genesect, very strong, extremely strong. I think it doesn't have like Dazzling Gleam or something. Gonna let this go. And gonna do 2 and okay. Gonna throw the Techno Blast Chill, which makes sense. Super effective because of the grass typing. Does do quite a bit of damage, and then gonna be able to land this Magnet Bomb onto the Terrakion, which is going to be more than enough to take him out at that health. And we encounter another situation where I believe is it 2-1 or is it 3-0 at this point in time? Anyways, DSU is in a very favorable situation, and we will see what the opponent is going to do. We're going to see, okay, does have access to, okay, here comes Tapu Bulu, but this should be a favorable matchup for the Zacian. It just has simply better stat proc. The movesets are probably pretty comparable, like a Bullet Seed, Grass Knot, probably pretty okay. And we're going to see it is quite spammy, and we're probably going to see one and throw the Play Rough, which should be enough to take out this Bulu. Even if they shield, should be able to shield and control the switch no matter what. But do you let this go? Gonna shield. And the opponent comes into Solgaleo and will be able to throw the close combat and come into Ursaluna here. And we'll see what moveset this Solgaleo has. We'll have to high horsepower. This is okay, though. Does want to farm up quite a bit here. Wants to be low on this Ursaluna so they can't farm that much, which makes total sense. And then potentially try to make it to 2 moves here. But with the defense drop twice, it's almost certainly not going to be possible. And going to throw the Ice Punch. It's not going to do very much damage to Terrakion. But certainly now they're in Frenzy Plant range. And the real point here was that the Venusaur wasn't going to be farmed. And they tried to make a catch. The opponent is going to have to throw anyways into this Zacian. They do throw the Sacred Sword. But this is a good situation here. I don't think there's anything that this Terrakion can do to really hurt. Venusaur may rock neutral. Oh, they throw the Sacred Sword here. Interesting. Okay, gonna throw the... That was weird. I don't know why they threw the Sacred Sword. I'm actually very confused there. And gonna throw the Sludge Bomb onto this Tapu Bulu, and Venusaur reigns supreme. And another 3-0 4-1. I can't remember, but another dominant set by DSU. I'll see everyone in the next set. All right, gonna go against Red Cliffy, I think, or Red Sea Life. I don't know. Anyways, they have Primal Groudon, which is the 14-point pick. Nialago, Zapdos, Golden Go, Latias, and Roserade. What do I like here? The Mega Gyarados is decent. Obviously, Zapdos would be problematic. But the Golden Go is fine. Latias is fine. Roserade also a little bit tricky, but not terrible. It also lacks a lot of stat product here. This Primal Groudon, I'm curious on what moveset it will be running in terms of Dragon Tail or Mudshot. Mudshot would be favorable in a number of different situations. Probably going to be Mudshot. But this is a good matchup for the Gyarados, right? Actually rocking Waterfall on the Gyarados. Oh man, gonna come in Genesect onto the Roserade. The Weather Balls are double super effective. So this is a tricky situation here. Gonna throw the Magnet Bomb. We will see. And the opponent's obviously desperate to win switch. So it kind of makes sense. This Roserade's really tricky to deal with. So Roserade, quite a weak Pokemon in terms of stat product, but a very good Pokemon versus this team due to its typing. And we're gonna see the Groudon come in and is gonna get a lot. This is Magnet Bomb's resistance is not gonna do that much damage, but it does some. And these waterfalls are absolutely decimating here. Do we see the shield? The fire punch bait here. Oh man. Okay, interesting. We will see what moveset this Zapdos has. But this is a favorable situation. They're gonna throw the Drill Peck. Ground typing is obviously very nice in this situation, and needs to land an Ice Punch. Can't quick attack all the way down, but wants to make sure they have some energy. They do double resist the Thunder Shock, so this is actually a pretty decent situation here. And the opponent chooses to no shield, and they're not able to make it to the move. And we will see what they're going to do here. They are going to throw the move. Is this going to be a Fire Punch, or is this going to be... Okay, it is a Fire Punch, but it looks like you can just waterfall this down. Okay, going to go for the Crunch here. Interesting. Oh my gosh, able to get the KO through the shield. Very nicely done. That is certainly one way to finish a game. Very nicely calculated there. I was curious on what the logic there of throwing the move there, but who am I to doubt DSU? Okay, interesting situation here. Does have access to high horsepower, and these quick attacks are certainly or tackle. They do throw the press. Oh my goodness, that does a tremendous amount of damage, but still able to make it to the high horsepower. Very well calculated. And the opponent, oh my gosh, they actually survived there. Wow, the Primal Groudon's a beast. Okay, and one waterfall is definitely going to be enough, but they're going to have lots of answers here. The question here is, if they come in Roserade, this is a very tricky situation here. But honestly, Gyarados is chonking away with these resisted waterfalls. And we will see the opponent throw the move here. The question, will it be... It will be the Grass Knot. Gonna look to... Okay, let this go. Does the Weather Ball KO? Does not KO. And we're going to see Zapdos come in. Tricky situation here. Will they bait? They will bait. And the question here is, will they shield this Technoblast? It would do a tremendous amount of damage. Or will they put it all... They do end up shielding. Oh, this is so tricky here. This is so tricky. Gonna throw the Drill Peck. Can they make it to the Technoblast before another... Well, now it looks like they're just going to go to 100 here. Or as close... Farm up some energy, then throw the Technoblast, which is certainly going to be enough. and gonna be able to take out this Zapdos with this Techno Blast. It's gonna deal super effective damage, and just needs to make it to this Magnet Bomb, and able to make it to the Magnet Bomb, which is gonna deal a lot of neutral damage to the Roserade, and we're gonna see the potential immediate swap. But that Magnet Bomb was enough to take out the Roserade. Roserade's very tricky for this team, and we're going to see Ursaluna into Zapdos, a very favorable matchup for Ursaluna, as we saw earlier, and they're actually choosing to stay in the matchup. And interesting, they chose not to throw. Maybe they want this Ursaluna to dump some energy, and gonna let this go. They might be able to make it to 3 Drill Pecks, which should put their Ursaluna into the red. Looks like that's going to be the case, but definitely will survive another Drill Peck. So probably no... Okay, actually able to take it, able to tackle it down. And this is a tricky situation for the Groudon. I'm curious what they have in the back. They actually end up shielding. There's no way they can Mud Shot down, right? Oh, it looks like they're going to try. This is going to be a Fire Punch. They do have access to the Precious Blade, and we're going to see how this is going to play out. The question is, going to shield, and they do throw the Precious Blade. And we're going to see the Roserade come in again. This is so tough here. But as you saw, one Weather Ball, despite being double super effective, is not enough to take out the Genesect. Gonna throw the Magnet Bomb. We will see if they choose the shield. They do choose the shield. And they're building up some energy here. It looks like... Do they have... Okay, gonna let this go. Gonna put it onto Gyarados. Well, you just let this go, right? Because the Precious Blade is probably the only thing that can actually KO. Okay, okay, they're actually gonna shield here. Honestly, they're... Okay, gonna throw the Aqua Tail. I think could have just thrown at the Groudon right away. But in a good situation here. And gonna be able to land this Aqua Tail onto the Roserade. And this is gonna be a good game. 3-0 Roserade. Tremendous typing and moveset advantage versus DSU's team. But unfortunately, Master League is a lot about stat product. And with the appropriate stat product, you can overcome those matchups here. This is a very tricky lead here. Gonna immediately swap into Ursaluna. And the opponent probably gonna throw the Precious Blade. And we're gonna see the no shield. Oh, able to make it to the high horsepower, but the opponent makes an absolutely gorgeous catch. This will still do a... Oh, actually did not do that much damage. That is absolutely terrible. Tremendous counting by the opponent. And we're going to see the Gyarados going to try to come in and farm it all the way down. The question here is, will the Zapdos bait or not? They actually do end up baiting here. That is very rough. There's absolutely no way this Gyarados is going to be able to carry this team, right? There's no way. There's no way, right? And we're going to see the bait. Unless you catch the Grass Knot. Okay, gonna throw the Crunch. There's really no way this okay. And we're gonna see, okay, they're actually gonna come back in with, okay, maybe here. Maybe. I don't think so, but gonna throw the neutral Technoblast, and the Fire Punch almost certainly KOs, right? It's like double super effective. And there's no way. You have to hope for the bait here. That's like the only logical play here. But of course, they're not going to bait. But still comes out with a very nice 3-1 set. Very impressive on both sides. All right, the next opponent is Simon the Yellow, who has Mega Swampert, Zekrom, Reshiram, Metagross, Yveltal, and Sylveon. So it would be very gutsy to bring Mega Venusaur into this team, even though it has 2 fantastic targets in the form of Mega Swampert and Sylveon. So I do expect the opponent to bring in Mega Swampert, just because it would be a very difficult read. And in fact, Mega Gyarados looks significantly better versus actually Mega Gyarados looks amazing versus this team. Only Sylveon is the only difficult Pokemon to deal with. And Sylveon lacks a lot of stats, so we will see what the opponent is going to bring. But Mega Gyarados is almost certainly going to come every single game here. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up here. Because, okay. Oh, okay. There you go. Okay. We're going to see Mega Gyarados into Yveltal. This is a good lead here. Obviously, you have to be careful of Focus Blast. But we will see what the opponent is going to do. Going to throw the Aqua Tail. There are at 5 Snarls here. They're 1 away from the Focus Blast. Potentially could have caught the move there. Gonna shield. 2, 3, 4. This is just a Dark Pulse. Not a big deal. Can farm down. But almost certainly they have Metagross in the back, right? There's no way they don't have Metagross. Okay. And they come into Sylveon. Honestly, I'm not sure if I'd throw this move here. I would definitely look to switch, and they're going to come into... Oh, there's actually Mega Swampert. Interesting. Oh, interesting. Okay. And they will throw the Hydro Cannon, which will do a pretty good amount of damage, as we saw in the previous Stasis draft. Mega Swampert was pretty strong. Okay. Gonna let this go. Mega Swampert is not as weak to Mega Gyarados as Gyarados is to or Swampert, regular Swampert is into Gyarados, just because it does lose the flying typing. Gonna let this go. And they do land. The Earthquake does quite a bit of damage. And then here comes Sylveon. I like this play because if the opponent does have 2 debuffing moves, then you're basically just going to look to force the Zacian to debuff itself. You definitely let this go and look to farm down. They do land the Psyshock. The question here is, can this Zacian outpace this Swampert? This will be this will certainly be close. The Swampert did throw the Earthquake, and we're going to see the close combat. I think Zacian wins CMP versus Mega Swampert, but we will find out in a moment. And actually, we will not find out because the Swampert did not have the move, but we will see a close combat, and this certainly will be more than enough to take out Mega Swampert. Gutsy move to bring in the Mega Swampert, despite the Mega Gyarados. Obviously was worried about Venusaur in the back, but man, it would take some guts to bring Venusaur, but maybe in one of these games that will happen, since they were double weak to Venusaur in the back. But we'll see what the opponent is going to do. I'm going to speed this up a little bit here. Okay, Simon the Yellow. Also, Simon the Mellow picker here. Okay, we're going to see Zacian into Yveltal. Very good lead. And they will come into Reshiram. And we will see what's going to happen here. I don't... no move really KOs here, right? So I'm curious. Oh, I guess Draco Meteor. Oh, okay. I completely forgot they had access to Draco Meteor. And we will see what they're going to... Man, it would be very difficult for them to bring in... Okay, they bring in Swampert here. Interesting. This looks like it's going to be game over, right? And they actually call the bait. Though, like, Crunch is not, like, that much better than... But does get the debuff, which is pretty nice. This game's over here, right? Like, you don't even need to shield here. They actually end up baiting here. And gonna throw the... I don't even know... What's the point of staying here? I'm not sure. Probably should just switch into... Okay, they're gonna throw the Dark... This is a very confusing game here. This opponent refusing to believe that the Mega Gyarados was gonna come into this game, so chose to run triple weak to Gyarados. And this is almost certainly game over here, right? Like, we've already seen both move sets from from the Velta. I'm assuming this will be the Focus Blast. They will do the Focus Blast. That's a pretty decent amount of damage, but gonna throw the close combat, and we will see what they're gonna do. And then gonna look to throw another close combat. I would be surprised if the opponent chooses a shield here, because this game's almost certainly over. They actually will choose a shield here. Obviously, they don't know what's in the back, but they will shield again. Doesn't want to reveal the third. And gonna land the close combat. Oh my goodness. Well, honestly, the Pokemon, the opponent is like 5 times weak to Gyarados, right? So it's kind of a tricky situation here. It's not like they would have to. They did bring the Sylveon the first time, and it kind of backfired on them. But let's see how this is gonna play out. Certainly, yeah. Let's see. We're gonna see Mega Gyarados. Oh, the opponent calls the lead, and we will see how this is gonna play out. The opponent comes into Metagross, which obviously has a very favorable matchup, into Zacian. Gonna land the close combat. The opponent's gonna have to throw before the next close combat. Gonna let this go. And they do throw the Meteor Mash. Gonna come into Gyarados. Probably gonna no shield. The opponent will probably make it to the Earthquake, which is okay. Meteor Mash is resisted. And they do land the Earthquake. Does a moderate amount of damage, but is able to effectively farm down. Oh, the opponent coming into, what the heck? Maybe predicting the this is very strange here. Maybe predicting Xerneas in the back, like one of the first lines there. But unfortunately, this prediction is not going to work out for them, because they're not going to shield here. Okay, they will shield here, but you just let this go. You just let this go. Oh my goodness, this is they're probably going to Dark Pulse here, right? It doesn't quite KO, and they're going to come into, well, let's see here. No Magna Bomb, but gonna throw the Techno Blast. They do resist the Fury Cutters, so we will see how the opponent's gonna play this. They will end up no shielding, and looks like the opponent is conceding at this stage, right? Gonna throw doesn't want to reveal the second move. This is kind of a 5-head play. Gonna shield. They will throw the Psyshock. I think he would survive the Psyshock here, but gonna no shield. Okay. Oh, gonna have to throw the X Scissor now. Or otherwise potentially could have lost that game. And gonna look to throw the X Scissor here. Didn't want to reveal the X Scissor, but kind of had to at that point in time. I think shield the Psyshock, though. It definitely almost certainly wouldn't KO. And then you could preserve the shield and then throw, but this is the last game anyways. And we're going to see Ursaluna into Sylveon. Should be a favorable matchup for the Ursaluna, because it does have quite a bit stat product difference. And the opponent knows they have to preserve. They actually will not choose to preserve this Sylveon. Maybe they shield this one. They do not. And then you just let this go. Right? The Gyarados, what could possibly beat this Gyarados? They do throw the Dazzling Gleam. Gonna come into Gyarados and get the farm down, get a little bit of energy. Did take super effective damage. But man, what can the opponent do at this stage here? And here comes Metagross. Oh my goodness. Well, they do resist the fast moves. And this is gonna be a Meteor Mash. Okay, and then you farm up. Okay, here comes Swampert. Good no shield. But now the Swampert's just going to straight Hydro, right? It's going to chip away at this Gyarados. Interesting that they stayed, because they have 2 Pokemon that could easily bait out the Gyarados. I think you let this go. Still have to deal with Metagross later. They actually do throw the Earthquake. And going to throw the Aqua Tail, which would be enough to take out the Swampert probably, yeah. And now you just let this go. They do throw the Hydro Cannon. and they do come back in with Metagross. Does have the X-Scissor, which makes sense now for the Metagross since it does deal neutral damage. But honestly, I don't know. Even the Earthquake wouldn't KO, so I'm not sure what the opponent can do at this stage. They do throw the Earthquake and gonna farm up some and then look to throw the X-Scissor at this Metagross and gonna land another X-Scissor onto this Mega Swampert, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. I think that was a 4-0, but honestly, the Mega Gyarados was ridiculously good against this team. It's not really. Maybe the third game the opponent could have won if they didn't try to make like a 5-head play there. But anyways, we'll see everyone in the next round. All right, we're gonna go into the second last round, going into the actual the name's cut off here. So Nomad. I knew that, but I just got caught up with the name. Anyways, they have Primal Kyogre, which is the only 15-point pick. Buzzwole, Golisopod, Snorlax, Hippowdon, and Gardevoir. That Hippowdon almost certainly is carrying Thunderfang, but Buzzwole and Gardevoir are actually pretty good. This is not so straightforward that this Mega Gyarados is going to do well versus this team. But Venusaur looking pretty strong into this team. Mega Venusaur actually looking tremendous versus this team. So we're going to see, okay, we are going to see Xerneas versus actually Rocking Thunder. Interesting. And going to throw the Thunder at this Gardevoir, which is a very interesting moveset. They will... I don't know if any move KOs here, but it'll probably be pretty close. And gonna throw the close combat. This is double resisted, so we'll see if this is gonna be enough. It is not enough, so gonna go with Zacian here, and we will see. They're gonna come into Buzzwole. What the heck, really? And they will throw the lunge here. Okay, gonna wild charge. It's an interesting situation here. Probably would survive this, but they are 2-stage debuffed here. They do throw another lunge. And going to throw the wild charge. This is 2-stage debuff. It does have 2 of them, so it should draw the shield. Okay, going to throw the wild charge. And I'm curious what's in the back then. Going to have to switch. Or maybe doesn't have to switch. Okay. And then, oh man, this is tricky here though. Gonna let this go. They do lunge. And the Frenzy Plant certainly gonna be enough to take out this. Question here is, do you shield this? You don't shield this. It's only neutral. And here comes Golisopod. Oh my gosh, Golisopod is not gonna like these Frenzy Plants. The opponent very weak to. Actually, I guess that's only neutral, but you shield this, right? This is Aerial Ace. And then you just double up on the Frenzy and then throw the Frenzy Plant. And the opponent, I guess the Golisopod is not weak to Venusaur, but and then gonna throw the Sludge Bomb at this Buzzwole, though the Frenzy Plant almost certainly would have been enough, even debuffed and resisted. And that's gonna be a GG. Makes sense, right? Like the 2 Pokemon in the back are kind of like neutral to the Venusaur. It's a very neutral matchup between them, right? Because the Mega Venusaur almost certainly has a stat product advantage. And we're going to see, rocking the same team here. So, but this is where Thunder is very handy. But man, Primal Kyogre is a beast. This is going to be difficult to deal with. The opponent choosing... They're probably going to throw on CMP with the close combat. Gonna let this go. And then probably going to come in, almost certainly going to come in Venusaur. And they are farming up quite a bit here. Enough for the Blizzard. Going to shield. They throw the Surf Bait, but that's quite all right. Going to let this go and farm down. Still going to do a decent amount because Kyogre has a tremendous stat product. And we will see what's going to come in. They're going to come into Buzzwole. Gonna throw the Sludge Bomb. But this is tricky here. Gonna throw another Sludge Bomb into this Buzzwole, and then probably look to switch. But man, the debuff here is gonna hurt. It actually decided not to come. Oh man, this is where having only debuffing moves is quite tricky. Gonna throw the Wild Charge, and we will see what the opponent will do. Okay, gonna throw the Wild Charge again. Will they shield? They will shield, and then not able to make it to the Wild Charge. You're gonna have to shield this, right? But they'll probably just triple axle here. No, they actually run Synchronoise. Interesting. Maybe Synchronoise. Okay. Okay, 1-1. We'll see if DSU gonna rock the same team again here. And we will see what the opponent is going to do. They're going to bring Zacian into same team but different order. And they are rocking the Ice Fang variant of Hippowdon. And going to throw the close combat. And will they throw... Going to switch and then going to catch this move here. And we'll see what the Hippowdon will throw. They do throw the Earth Power. Does it still a decent amount of damage. And these Ice Fangs are very obnoxious, I'm not going to lie. And will throw the close combat at this Hippowdon. And we will see Golisopod coming in. Gonna throw the Thunder, which does deal super effective damage. And we'll see if the... Oh my gosh, they actually chose to no shield there. Interesting. Gonna let this go, I presume. Aerial Ace. Oh, it's actually not enough. Oh, but not able to get the move off. That's weird. That was weird. Gonna let this go. It's only an Aerial Ace from a Golisopod. Still do some damage here. And we see Buzzwole coming in. That's probably the correct play to no shield. The lunge, I don't know here. It's probably pretty close between the two. I don't think a lunge KOs. It almost certainly doesn't KO. It's neutral. And then you're gonna throw. Needs to... I think this game's over here, but they... Okay. Oh, well, you gotta shield something, but... So they will shield the lunge. Needs to build up here before debuffing. I honestly actually don't think you need to really build up for debuffing, but probably best to. And the opponent tries to make the catch, and then going to farm down here and go. I already had double there, so probably no need to farm down. And gonna land the Wild Charge, and then it doesn't really matter. I think they would win anyways. Now up 2-1. Can DSU close out another 4-1 set? This time rocking a very similar team, but the opponent go back to Kyogre lead since they had success in game number 2, and has DSU called the... Okay, here comes the Buzzwole, and we will see what the opponent is going to do. They tried... I don't know what I guess they're just banking a lot of energy, but they did take super effective damage from the move. And we will see. Gonna throw the close combat to avoid the CMP tie. Oh, the opponent choosing not to shield. Oh, but able to make it to another close combat. The opponent is going for the full farm down. Oh, no, they do not. They do have a lot of energy here, but all this energy is resisted by Zacian. You let this go, right? There's nothing that threatening here. They will throw the lunge. They will throw another lunge here. This is going to be tough situation here. Very tough. Because this Buzzwole is going to be very annoying. They actually make a beautiful catch onto... That's actually an amazing catch there. Onto the Hippowdon. But this Venusaur gonna throw the Frenzy Plan is super effective. They're both throwing super effective fast move damage at each other. But I don't know here. Like, what you end up shielding? I guess it makes sense to shield these. And gonna throw the sludge bomb. It's almost certainly the case that the Buzzwole will shield this, right? Yes. And they're building up a lot of energy. Gonna let this go. We'll almost certainly survive this. And then bank a sludge bomb. Okay, just gonna throw it. I'm not sure about throwing this, but okay, gonna switch and gonna look to, I guess it doesn't really matter here. What can this Buzzwole do versus the Zacian? Gonna look to get to double there or fast move down. Gonna be able to fast move down and pick up another 3-1 set after scary game number 2. DSU is rolling again, and I'll see everyone in the last set. All right, we have the final opponent, Wen Juan. I'll just call it Wen. 10-24 has Zygarde, Mega Charizard, Palkia, Virizion, Magnezone, and Tapu Lele. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll see if DSU can continue this undefeated streak, this incredible 3-1 streak. Picks up a very favorable lead here. Let's see what moveset is rocking. Okay, and they come into Magnezone. Oh my goodness, this Magnezone is disastrous for this team. Oh my goodness. Though the mirror shots actually didn't do that much damage, but still a very tricky situation here. Would survive this. They do throw the mirror shot. And gonna be able to land the close combat. We'll draw probably both shields here. Yep, able to make it to the close combat. It looked like it almost lagged there, which would have been very bad. Able to land the close combat. And this is a tricky situation here. Because, again, I don't know how you take out this Tapu Lele if you don't have the... You're gonna have... Okay, gonna let this go. Predicting a mirror shot bait here? I don't know. Oh my gosh, they actually wild charge here. That's actually so bad here. How do you beat this? Okay, I guess it does have the... Oh, I guess it is running... What moveset is it rocking here? You don't know what moveset this... Also didn't know what this through there. Tapu Lele is rocking Astonish. Okay, Astonish. Okay, so I guess Gyarados doesn't have that bad of moves of a matchup here. And gonna be able to land the Aqua Tail onto Mega Charizard, and this game's over here. This Aqua Tail is going to deal super effective damage. The opponent tried to make a nice catch there. Unfortunately, Mega Gyarados is just too strong in this situation here. Gonna make a beautiful catch. That's a gorgeous catch there. And they do throw the Moonblast, and then gonna be able to Dragon Breath down, and that's gonna be a GG. Very nicely played. Very nice timing there. I don't know the counts for Astonish and obviously DSU doing a lot of research in between each match here. And we're going to see Ursaluna. Oh, she was contemplating switching there to try to bait out the Magnezone. There's actually a very, very good matchup for the Ursaluna since it does double resist the fast move. And Mirror Shots is a pretty weak move. And the opponent tries to make a catch there. Unfortunately, they are going to be met by Zacian. And let's see how this is going to play out. You need 2 moves to KO here, right? So probably going to have to take another one. Then probably going to do 4 and throw here. But no, okay, you're going to throw 1 throw here. No, I guess the shield, okay. Interesting. Is CMP tie? Does the opponent double shield here? No, they will easily survive this. I guess you let this go here. They do throw the Leaf Blade here. You come into Gyarados. Okay, gonna come into Ursaluna, and then gonna throw the Ice Punch. That makes sense too. Don't reveal the third. But man, okay, they come into Charizard here. Interesting here. Throwing the Ice Punch. It's just a Dragon Claw. I'm curious why the shield on the Dragon Claw. I don't even think they went up to the Blast Burn there. I'm gonna switch. Okay, and gonna throw the Aqua Tail. I'm assuming they shield this. They have to shield this, right? I'm gonna let this go. There's no way they bait here, yeah. And then you just fast move it down here. But if they land the Mirror Shot debuff, this is gonna be rough. They actually Wild Charge here. Interesting. Does that do more? I guess. Like, I'm gonna shield this. Let's see if they get the debuff. That's like really the big question. They do not get the debuff. And then gonna do 1 and then throw the Ice Punch, and then probably do 1 and throw the Ice Punch. Should be enough. 3 should be enough here, and it's gonna be able to take it out. So I guess shielding that Dragon Claw ended up paying off, but very, very honestly kind of weird matchup there, but it worked out, and DSU up 2-0. Can DSU claim another 3? Oh, we're gonna see Xerneas into Zygarde. This is a very good situation here, but man, this rocking. Okay, this is okay though. Looks like Xerneas should be able to win this game here, or win this matchup. Does throw the close combat. I'm assuming they're gonna shield. And then you do 1 more and throw the close combat. Is triple good against the Zygarde? Oh, I don't think you make it. I don't think it's worth shielding here. Yeah, definitely not worth shielding. Gonna let this go, and then gonna look to land the close combat. They will land another one here. Okay, they come into Zygarde here. They're going to build up to the Earthquake, because obviously the Crunch is resisted. And we will see if they're going to bait, or they're going to... Man, this Zygarde's so tanky here. They do go for the Earthquake. Should be able to... I don't want to say he should be able to farm down here, because this thing is quite tanky here. This is just a Crunch, right? Yeah, should be able to farm down. Yeah, it should be able to farm down. And then switch here, close combat. Okay, gonna throw the Crunch here. Is this gonna be enough? Let's see. It is a Shadow Zone, okay? And they come into Charizard here, and this is game over here. Gonna be able to land 2 Wild Charges to take out this Charizard. And I guess, let's see here. There's no way. The Mega Zone will definitely faint to 2 quick attacks. Even just 1 quick attack is enough to take out the Magna Zone. And DSU up 3-0 in this final game here. This time not choosing to bring the Mega Gyarados, and going to bring in Zacian versus the Mega Charizard Y. And we will see how these two decide to play it out. I guess this is where you want to see it, right? Otherwise, the matchup is kind of awkward. The Blast Run probably doesn't KO, but it would do a lot. Gonna wait. Throw the Wild Charge. Gonna wait again. Throw another Wild Charge. Probably gonna let this go, right? Yeah. I don't think any point in shielding this. And they do throw the Blast Burn. And then we're gonna see Ursaluna. Almost for sure a Magnezone in the back, right? So, oh, they come into Virizion here. But the question here is, what moveset does this Virizion have? Looks like it's going to throw the Sacred Sword, right? Yeah, it does throw the Sacred Sword. Not too big a deal. 1 Sludge Bomb almost certainly doesn't count. Weird frame drop there. Probably do 1 and throw the Sludge Bomb. This almost certainly doesn't KO, but the question is, can you effectively farm down this? I guess so. Gonna let this go again. This is awkward. This farm down is so awkward here. Gonna throw. But the question is, do they come in? Do they have Magnezone in the back, right? They must have Magnezone in the back, right? Okay, they're gonna throw the Sludge Bomb. Maybe not. Let's see what's in the back. That is not quite enough to take it out, and we're able to farm down here. And it is the Magnezone. I'm actually kind of shocked they didn't come Magnezone into the Venusaur, because that's probably the only play there. And the high horsepower. I guess maybe they didn't see the high horsepower before, but that is going to be a GG. Very well played tournament. Very well played set. Fantastic run. Anyways, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.